Alright, so this rant is going to be over this gameplay and is going to be divided into two parts. First we'll rant about the game mechanics, and then we will rant about the players. I don't rant about players enough, so that's going to be kind of fun. Alright, so Black Ops 4 is not your average Call of Duty, and this is due to a lot of different factors. The ones we'll be touching on is the fact that this Call of Duty has a little bit more health and manual healing, and that's going to become very relevant very soon. So you read the title. I'm going to complain about melee users in Black Ops 4, and let me just make this clear, I don't like melee users in any game, and I really don't want to hear any "it's not overpowered" garbage in the comments. I already know that, I'm not retarded. Meleeing has been a problem in the Call of Duty community for a while. In Call of Duty Ghosts, you had the 180 lock-on lunge. In Modern Warfare 2, you had Commando. In Black Ops 2, it was just incredibly inconsistent, so when it would happen, it would feel like bullshit, and when your knife would miss, it would also feel like bullshit. Some games are just better suited for meleeing. I would consider Battlefield and Halo to do it a lot better, even though I think Battlefield 1's melee system is atrocious, same with Battlefield 4's honestly, and I also think Halo 5's melee system is super trash because of the Spartan charge ability. But we're going to try to consolidate here to Black Ops 4. So even though meleeing has been a problem in many games and many Call of Duty games, I do think in Black Ops 4, it's accentuated. Now, I don't mean it's worse, I just mean the problem is like a little bit more obvious. You might be thinking, well, what makes it worse in Black Ops 4? Well, some of you have already said it to yourselves, unlimited sprint. Having unlimited sprint without needing to take up a perk for it is one of the roughest parts about what I'm about to say. Because in Call of Duty Ghosts and Modern Warfare 2, you didn't just get to have unlimited sprint whenever you wanted to. So running up on people trying just to melee them all the time, though is possible in those games, you had to kind of make your class around it. In Black Ops 4, you should probably also use perks like Tracker, Dead Silence, Lightweight in order to have a proper melee build. And yes, you do have to actually have a melee weapon out. You can't just melee somebody, get a one-hit kill with an AR in your hand, which is good. But one of the ways Black Ops 2 kind of dealt with this is there was no way to have unlimited sprint in Black Ops 2. You could have longer sprint, and you could have dexterity, which would be helpful, but you couldn't just sprint forever. This changes the way you have to be a melee player because you don't want to run too long and just before you get to your enemy, have to slow down and catch your breath. That's usually when you die. You want to at least have 25% more sprint left when you go to actually attack somebody so that you can also get away after you do it. In Black Ops 4, you don't have to worry about that. In Black Ops 4, we don't have tiny maps, but they are smaller maps. They're not Call of Duty Ghost size maps, Modern Warfare 2 size maps. They are much more uniform and they're not too complicated to get around. So unlimited sprint on less complicated, more mid-sized maps. Okay, then there's manual healing. So you're thinking, okay, what does that have to do with it? Well, it has a lot to do with it. Now let's say you've been in a heated gunfight and you took some shots and now you're backing up to heal. That would be the perfect time to strike. If you're a melee user and you see somebody manually healing in Black Ops 4, that gives you a bigger handful of milliseconds than the game already does. And what I mean by that is, compare it to Black Ops 3. In Black Ops 3, every gun killed about 1 shot less compared to Black Ops 4. It's about 1 to 2 shots. That doesn't take into account all of the nuances of weapon damage in Black Ops 3 and 4, but roughly you're going to need 1 or 2 more shots in Black Ops 4 compared to Black Ops 3. Which means, oftentimes, melee users will have an extra handful of milliseconds in Black Ops 4 to melee you compared to other Call of Duty games. You can't just 3-shot somebody in Black Ops 4 to the chest with an SMG. You have to be more consistent with your aim, so getting caught off guard in close range by somebody that can just hit you once and kill you is kind of a death sentence, especially if you're caught while healing, and of course reloading, but that's in every Call of Duty game. Again, I know melee's been a problem before, I don't think Black Ops 4 invented it. The other big factor is that, in case you didn't notice, there's no claymores, there's no bouncing Bettys, no shock charges, no motion sensors, no IEDs. And while yes, those can be frustrating if you don't have a class with engineer, sitrep, or whatever the comparable perk is to engineer, sitrep, they did a good job of making sure your back was covered because at the very least, somebody would have to shoot your mine, which is super bad news for someone that's running a melee only build because how are they going to shoot your claymore? So really the only thing in this game that directly counters somebody that's doing this, and I am talking about the people that do this well, like the person I'm fighting in the gameplay here, more on that later, you can really only counter with Nomad because mesh mines and Juno the attack dog are like the biggest counters against this type of playstyle. Now, of course, some weapons are better at different ranges, high rate of fire SMGs, shotguns, rocket launchers, as you'll probably see in the gameplay here. Those are all pretty effective at dispatching people like this. So there's the gameplay things. You got medium-sized, very simple maps that are easy to traverse, you have unlimited sprint, you have the opportunity to get caught healing and reloading instead of just reloading, and the person charging you has a little bit more health than previous Call of Duty games and doesn't really move any slower than previous Call of Duty games, so you have someone coming at you that you need to probably land an extra shot on, or a headshot, which is hard to do in the heat of combat, especially if you've been caught off guard, and it's easier to get caught off guard if you can't cover your back with something like a bouncing Betty or a shock charge or a motion sensor. It is easier to counter these types of players when not in the bare bones playlist, but they stand out a lot in the bare bones playlist, and in my 4 matches I played today, I ran into 2, and they made my time not as fun. So let's talk about that. Now, first of all, I understand that those types of players do take a bit more, I don't want to say skill, but a lot more thought has to go into being a good melee player, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you just rush into a group of enemies and smack melee until everyone around you is dead, or at least you killed one person. Often you're not going to get that far. You're going to lose more gunfights than you win because, well, you don't have a gun. But it is really possible to just run into a room with somebody and then just cause them great emotional grief because they can't get 4 bullets into your chest in the time it takes for you to just run up to them and slap them once. If you're fighting these types of melee players, I do recommend a stealth build. It's a way better idea. And also use a lot of concussion grenades if you're in bare bones playlist and you're coming across these people. I would say stealth and flashbangs are the best way to counter these guys in bare bones. Something you don't see me doing here, but maybe I wanted to use this class and I was stubborn. But I just don't like these types of players because the fun that they derive is kind of from cheesing, and they know it's cheesy. They know it's fucking cheesy to do it. They know that they're running like past your bullets just to one-hit melee you, and they know they're probably going to die right afterwards. And what a lot of them seem to do, if they're smart, is they wait for you to fire your gun, they see you on the minimap, they see that you've been in a gunfight, and they know you're going to have to probably reload or heal, and then they charge you. If they even put that much thought in, sometimes it doesn't even feel like they're putting in any thought. They're just rushing in, hoping to annoy somebody. The fuck? Like, the specialists are really annoying in Black Ops 4, but this really takes me out of the game, because it's not just specific to Black Ops 4. Like, people that just like run up to you and melee you in Battlefield 1 used to fucking enrage me, because the melee system was pretty fucking janky in that game. And just any game where somebody can just run up to you and just start punching you or knifing you, it's frustrating. It's a frustrating playstyle to have to fight against, and it isn't really why I play a first-person shooter. See, I'm in the mood for gunfights, and even if it's just 1 out of the 5 people on the enemy team, it's still very annoying to have to worry about every corner could have that person around it. Every time you've been watching one lane for too long, they could be behind you. And yeah, get good, get better at aiming, and just work around it. It's a hard play style to do, I understand that. This is just kind of a complaint for complaint's sake, because they're getting their fun from kind of just fucking with the enemy, and I can't really blame the developers of any of these games because I don't feel like there's a super right way to do melee, except maybe Halo 1, 2, 3, and Reach. Yeah, maybe even 4. I'll throw 4 in there as well. But it just kind of takes me out of the game, and it's frustrating to go up against, and I don't think anyone's gonna disagree with me that it's annoying because I've done it too. And the reason I thought it was funny, it was because it was annoying to the enemies to have to deal with it. Like, nobody wants to deal with that. It's like one of the few reasons I want Martyrdom to return, because, you know what, that'd be a great perk. Martyrdom, but only if you get meleeed. If somebody stabs you with a knife, then you drop a live grenade. That would be fucking awesome. In all seriousness, this is kind of a non-issue. I just wanted to kind of rant about it because it doesn't make a lot of sense because, well, the developers can't really plan for it. They don't design the maps so that melee players have a harder time. They don't design the weapons so that it's easier to take out a melee player. They don't add and remove health and damage systems to cater to people that are trying to fight melee users. But if you're the kind of person that's just going into Call of Duty to annoy people, die, repeat, annoy, die, repeat, then what the fuck's wrong with you? It's like noob tubing. It's not gonna probably win the match for you. It's like quickscoping. or anything that's kind of just a little annoying to go against. You're just trying to fuck me over. You're just trying to give me the middle finger, and you could probably be helping your team a lot more with a regular gun, like playing the objective, but you're just there to be a prick. And it's so gosh damn annoying. I just wish that there was a way to like fix it, but it's kind of hard to, because even if it was only 2-hit melee, then there would be people that run up and just 2-hit melee you. People will always find a way to be annoying in video games. I don't think it's toxic. I don't think it should be bannable. I don't think developers should devote their time and resources to making sure I'm not annoyed when I play Call of Duty. But it's just something that's so irritating, and I wouldn't hate it if the next Call of Duty and the next several shooters I play have good melee systems that don't make me feel cheated. Because you throw in some latency and you know what I'm talking about. Okay, if you've played any FPS game, you know what I'm talking about. Like, you add in a touch of latency and it all goes to shit. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you when I see you guys. Goodbye. I don't think this is the worst thing in the world. It's a non-issue. It's just annoying.